Today's topic, transport of carbon dioxide. This transport of carbon dioxide, generally it is the diffusion of CO2 gas from the cells to the capillaries, where it is transported in three ways. The first is transport of CO2 in dissolved form. See, this gas is released along with water and energy during oxidation, right? And when we say it is in the dissolved form, it means due to its high solubility, about 7% of carbon dioxide can be easily dissolved in blood plasma. And then from here it is carried to the lungs. So as compared to oxygen, a much large volume of CO2 is transported in dissolved form. Because oxygen cannot be transported in much amount in dissolved form, this is about 7% of it. From where? From body tissues to the lungs. Second, when we talk about, it is the transport of CO2 as bicarbonate ion. See, the largest fraction of CO2, about we say 70%, is converted to bicarbonate ion, because this is the form which is transported in plasma. When CO2 diffuses into the RBCs, it combines with water. Alright, in RBCs, CO2 combines with water, forming carbonic acid. But this is highly unstable and it cannot be transported in this form. So what it does, it quickly dissociates into bicarbonate ion as well as hydrogen ion. Although this reaction occurs in plasma, but this is 100 times or 1000 times effective in erythrocytes. That's why we write in RBCs CO2 combines with water. Basically क्या होता है, RBCs के अंदर ये चीज़ इतनी एक्टिव क्यों है? Because they have an enzyme carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic anhydrase, it reversibly catalyzes the conversion of CO2 and water into carbonic acid, and hydrogen is released during this reaction. This hydrogen quickly binds to hemoglobin and triggers the Bohr's effect. Remember the Bohr's effect? So it triggers Bohr's effect, and ultimately what happens? The transportation of CO2 into the alveoli take place. No oxygen is released, and automatically CO2 loading can be done effectively. And because of the buffering effect of hemoglobin, the liberated hydrogen causes a little change in the pH. वो थोड़ा सा acidic हो जाता है. From 7.4 it moves to 7.34, and it can easily pass through the tissues and the lungs and can move out. Clear? Moving to the second phenomena of this bicarbonate, along with the bicarbonate ion, the chloride shift. What is it? This bicarbonate ion, this content of RBC is much greater than in plasma. This bicarbonate ion content, it is much greater than in plasma. So what happens? This is higher in RBCs. So this moves from RBCs to plasma and changes the ionic balance. And after that, to restore the same ionic balance, negative chloride ions ये प्लाज्मा से RBCs में शिफ्ट हो जाते हैं. The movement of chloride ions from plasma to RBCs is known as chloride shift. Why? Why is it necessary? Because it will help the RBCs to take up water and increase in size so that these can work effectively. This is also known as Hamburger's phenomena. Hamburger phenomena. I'll explain how it happens actually. This entire chloride shift. Supposingly this is a tissue cell. ठीक है, क्या निकला टिश्यू सेल से? CO2. Where does it go? Into the capillary. This is a capillary in which it has to go. Now it enters into the capillary and inside the RBCs, supposingly this is a red blood cell, this CO2 will enter into the RBC. Here CO2 combines with water. वाटर के साथ कंबाइन करके क्या करता है? बाइकार्बोनेट आयन H2CO3, पहले कार्बोनिक एसिड which is easily divisible into and converted into bicarbonate ion. Right, this bicarbonate ion releases this hydrogen. Clear? This hydrogen किसके साथ कंबाइन करता है? ये हाइड्रोजन हीमोग्लोबिन पिगमेंट के साथ क्या बनाता है? RBCs को एक्टिवेट करता है बोहर्स इफेक्ट में. And this bicarbonate ion when moves from plasma to RBCs, ये इसकी movement, and chloride ions move from this to RBC, ये होगी हमारी chloride shift. This is our blood capillary. This is our RBCs. And this is the plasma. ये जो है ना सारा outside this convex shaped cell. This is our plasma. अब देखो टिश्यू से क्या आया? CO2. Where does it go? The CO2 goes into the RBC. Joins the water. चलो पानी भी यहाँ से चला गया प्लाज्मा से. This water and carbon dioxide together forms it carbonic acid. Releases to form bicarbonate ion and hydrogen ion. Where does the hydrogen go? Hydrogen, it moves to the hemoglobin pigment and automatically brings the Bohr's effect. उसके बाद chloride ion moving from this plasma region into the RBCs brings the chloride shift because it will help RBCs to absorb more water for the process of this transport of carbon dioxide. Clear? The third as carbaminohemoglobin. When we say these two are, the first one we have done is CO2 in dissolved form, the second one is as bicarbonate ion, and third one is transport of CO2 as carbaminohemoglobin. And only about 23% of CO2 is carried by HB as carbaminohemoglobin. In addition to reacting with water, CO2 also reacts directly with the amino radicals NH2 to form an unstable compound, right? But mainly we say it gets transported like this with hemoglobin to form HbCO2, carbaminohemoglobin. Approximately 4 ml of CO2 in 100 ml of blood can be transported in this method. ज़्यादा नहीं, only 4 ml in 100 ml of blood can be transported in this mechanism. Alright, this is about the transport of carbon dioxide.